Shalom. I want to start out by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, Kol Halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. Turkey is allies with Russia, and they're jumping ship. Why? Because the United States funds terrorism and overthrows governments. All right, they'll fund, countries who they're allies with. They'll fund their enemies with weapons, and then they'll let them fight each other, so that way eventually they can move in and take their resources as well, and Turkey is waking up to that fact. So I'm going to read this article. Threat to Turkey comes from strategic partners, Erdogan said. Turkish President Recep Erdogan has sharply criticized the U.S. and other NATO allies for their support of the reliance on Kurdish militias to keep a foothold in Syria, reiterating that Ankara views them as a threat to its security. We cannot buy weapons from the U.S. with our money, but unfortunately, the U.S. and coalition forces give these weapons, this ammunition to terrorist organizations for free. Again, ISIS or ISIL was created by the Obama administration, the permanent state, which is the military-industrial complex. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said in an interview on Turkish channel NTV, so where does the threat come from? It comes primarily from strategic partners, he stated, emphasizing that Washington continues to funnel truck and plane loads of weapons into northern Syria. All right, and those weapons get in the hands of ISIS and Al-Qaeda. The U.S. sent 5,000 trucks loaded with weapons to northern Syria, the Turkish leader said, reiterating concerns he repeatedly voiced before, especially following the launch of military operations in northern Syria. On January 20th, Turkey launched a cross-border offensive into Syria with the aim of dislodging Kurdish terrorists from Afrin. The assault, condemned Operation Olive Branch, has strained relations between Washington and Ankara, which has since threatened to expand the operation to Manbij and beyond. The Kurdish YPG are key U.S. allies on the ground in this area, but Ankara views them as an offshoot of the terrorist designated Kurdistan Workers' Party, PKK. Washington, for its part, has also been critical of Ankara's growing misalignment with the West and its cozier relations with Russia and Iran. Ankara's decision to buy S-400 air defense systems from Russia exposes Turkey to possible U.S. sanctions. Assistant Secretary of State Wes Mitchell recently warned, noting that it is in the American national interest to see Turkey remain strategically and politically aligned with the West. The ease with which Turkey brokered arrangements with Russian military to facilitate the launch of its Operation Olive Branch in the Afrin district, arrangements to which America was not privy, is gravely concerning, he said. Turkey lately has increased its engagement with Russia and Iran. Turkey has lately increased its relationships with Russia and Iran, all right, because they already see what's coming, all right? They fund terrorism, and they'll let people who they say they're allies with fight terrorists and kill each other, and then eventually they're going to move in and overthrow their government as well. So Turkey's jumping ship, and their relationships with Russia and Iran is getting stronger. So I got some precepts. I'm going to pull up Ezekiel 38 chapter. Son man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, chief prince of Meshech, Tubal, and prophesy against him. All right, Gog, Magog is Russia. Say, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. I'll turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I'll bring thee forth. All right, he's going to bring him forth in the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. All right, he's the key player. And all thine army and horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Iran, Ethiopia, Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands. Gomer is Turkey, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. All right, so it's prophesied that Turkey would do this same very thing. All right, so right now they're in the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is the Persian Gulf region. So again, Joel, the 3rd chapter, 9th verse, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. All right. And this prophecy is being fulfilled, has been fulfilled, and is being fulfilled currently. All right, Iran has nuclear weapons. Russia has nuclear weapons. Every other nation's military got built up. All right, and again, North Korea. All right, with its current move, that was actually orchestrated by Russia and China. All right, now don't get it mixed up. All right, because North Korea still has nuclear weapons and knows how to make nuclear weapons, and they're allies with Russia and China. All right, that was a political move. Chess, not checkers. All right, and all the military advisors to Trump know that. All right, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, gather yourselves together round about thither, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about, and that's the Persian Gulf, all right? So, Isaiah the 9th chapter, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire, all right? It's talking missiles, namely nuclear missiles when the destruction of Babylon happens, all right? Israel and Iran are going to war as well, and this is happening now. All right, so now Isaiah 33:1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled. All right, the United States, Israel, UK, Saudi Arabia, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. All right, and they're being ceased to spoil right now because every nation is rising up. All right, there's a reason. Syria invited Russia, all right, legally into their country to defend Syria. All right, they know, all right, in the international community, they know that America is legitimate or trying to overthrow a legitimate government. And the fact that Russian presence is there in Syria shows they're not scared or intimidated by the United States anymore or the permanent state. Okay, so it's an act of boldness and shows you that America has no more influence anymore. All right. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And they're being ceased to spoil right now. The fact that there's a Russian presence in Syria shows America has no more influence. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. And this is happening now. All right, so I want to read an article on Operation Timber Sycamore. Okay, this was ISIS was created by Barack Obama in 2000, sometime in 2000, all right, when he was in office. All right, and it was a CIA operation where they were funding terrorists, ISIL, all right, so they could create chaos in that region and try and overthrow Assad. All right, it goes without saying that the so-called Syria civil war is the most dangerous and destructive crisis on the planet. Why? Because they know this is leading towards World War III. All right, this is in the works. It's happening now. Hundreds of thousands have already perished in this conflict, while around 10 million Syrians have been displaced since early 2011. To start this conflict and then keep its fires burning, the U.S. and its satellites have spent billions of dollars. It's curious that the New York Times has recently uncovered the criminal role that the CIA played in the Syrian war. Okay, and again, every leader of every nation knows about Project Timber Sycamore. All right. And the United States illegally invaded a legitimate government. It's a war crime. The United States is guilty of a war crime, and the United Kingdom, Saudi Arabia, Israel are all in bed with the United States. They're all guilty of a war crime, as well as France. All right. So, reporting that members of the Obama administration had told them that Saudi Arabia is sponsoring the absolute majority of unannounced overseas wars to keep the role played in them by Washington a secret. At times, the U.S. and Saudi Arabia would share their intelligence, while in some cases, Riyadh just hand out large sums of money to CIA operatives without asking any questions. Back in 2013, the CIA and Riyadh have agreed on launching an operation under the code name the Timber Sycamore that is aimed at toppling Syria's elected officials. See, it's not a regime. It was elected officials through the continuous training and provided to all sorts of radical militants. Under the deal, the Saudis contribute both weapons and large sums of money, and the CIA takes the lead in training the rebels on AK-47 assault rifles and tank-destroying missiles. You know, when they overthrew Gaddafi, there's a large stockpile of weapons, all right, that the United States knew Saudi Arabia took, and they allowed them to take it, and they allowed them to give those weapons to terrorist groups. All right, and the United States never stepped in. All right, they allowed it. Moreover, Turkey, Jordan, and Qatar have all been involved in this criminal design, even though exact amounts of money that the above-mentioned states handed over to the CIA will always remain a secret, which is why Turkey is jumping ship and joining with Iran and Russia, because American influence is no longer exists. All right, they'll use the media propaganda machine, all right, to tell you that, to lie to you, basically, for the most part. All right, and this article is dated in 2011. All right, moreover, Turkey, Jordan, and Qatar have all been involved in this criminal design, even though exact amounts of money that the above-mentioned states handed over to the CIA will always remain a secret. Still, the New York Times states that Saudi Arabia has been the major sponsor throughout all this time, allocating billions of dollars in a bid to bring down the government of Bashar al-Assad. True, but the United States has been funding it. It's been reported that ever since 2012, 8 European countries have been selling large shipments of small arms to Saudi Arabia, the total worth of which has surpassed 1 billion euros. Most of these weapons end up in terrorist hands in Syria. At the same time, the U.S. has been supervising these deliveries through its SOCOM operatives, since this operations command is charged with overseeing U.S. operations overseas. All right, I'll just leave it there. And I'll just read a little more on Wikipedia of Timber Sycamore. Timber Sycamore was a classified weapons supply and training program run by the United States Central Intelligence Agency, and it's supported by various Arab intelligence services, most notably that of Saudi Arabia. Launched in 2012 or 2013, it supplied money, weaponry, training to rebel forces fighting Syrian President Bashar al-Assad in the Syrian civil war, ISIS. According to U.S. officials, the program has trained thousands of rebels. President Barack Obama secretly authorized the CIA to begin arming Syria's embattled rebels in 2013. However, the CIA had been facilitating the flow of arms from Libya to Syria for more than a year beforehand in collaboration with the UK, United Kingdom, Saudi Arabia. Okay, there's even more evidence proving that the United States funds terrorism. All the evidence proves that that chemical weapons attack was a false flag orchestrated by the United States, United Kingdom, Israel, all right, and Saudi Arabia. Again, the United States is being exposed as war criminals along with their allies, United States, Saudi Arabia, France, United Kingdom, and Saudi Arabia. Okay, and it's just true. Again, according to CIA, former CIA director who warned Barack Obama, he said, war with Russia is imminent because of this Syrian conflict. All right, and they have no intention of leaving because as much as they say on the news, the economy's growing, all this and that, it's false. All right, the American economy is not growing, deeper in debt. All right, the only thing that funds the United States is war and oil. So they have no intention of leaving Syria. All right, and of course, conflict or confrontation, the war with Russia is imminent. All right, so again, the United States of America and Russia are currently at war. We're in the midst of World War III. World War III is happening right now. So with that, I'm going to say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, Call Halal Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, double honors, apostle, elders, great millstone, who are the holy apostles and prophets mentioned in the book of Revelation. Bless the Akim that are pushing more in true sincerity, and to all you men of great millstone, I say Barakatam, Bahasham Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, Waha Racha Kodash. And again, Russia and his allies have been speaking of this for years now. All right, they know of Project Timber Sycamore. All right, they know that United States of America are war criminals. All right, and their allies. All right, and this is all being spoken, and everyone in the international community knows it. Either way, war with Russia is imminent. So with that, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah Hamashiach, Call Allah Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shah Hamashiach, and to Shalom to the elect.